Welcome back to the Fantasy Medalist Podcast, where our goal is to give you hints and tricks, the inside info for fantasymedalist.com and how to draft your absolute dream team. Here we go.
Okay, so last episode, Tori and Natalie kind of gave us the overview of the drafting. This episode, they're going to take us through their ideal roster. So they're going to go category by category and tell us who they would pick, maybe a little reason why. We're going to start with the first category, which was biathlete. Natalie, do you want to get us started?
For my biathlete, I chose, and I apologize to any Norwegian people listening to this, Marta Olsbu Roysland.
Sounded good.
Marta is the overall World Cup leader in the biathlon this year, as well as the leader in the pursuit and sprint category. Yeah. Tori, how about you?
Love that pick. So I'm going on the other side. I'm going to go with a male biathlete, Quentin Fillon-Maillet. Again, apologies to any French-speaking people out there listening. The thing is Quentin has been very consistent over the last year and a half, 2 years on the circuit. He has won a couple different races in itself, and just predominantly in the top three more times than not. He's kind of had the yellow bib, as it's called in the biathlon, leading the way, even if he's not in the sort of first or second position, even if he's been in sort of fourth through 7th to 10th, consistently in each of those races in the top 10. So I went with him, just felt like a safe pick to get at least.
Yes, both of our picks are the yellow shirt leaders in the World Cup currently.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember from last episode, you're going to pick 3 skiers for your roster, and there's a quite a variety of different types of skiers that you can choose from. So Natalie, do you want to start us again with a first skier pick?
Sure. So within the skier category, you can pick a cross-country skier, an alpine skier, a freestyle skier. There might be 1 or 2 other kinds of skiers, but those are the big ones. And Tori and I both have this person on our list, Johannes Hofsvlat Klebo, another Norwegian. Johannes has just been an absolute beast in the World Cup the last couple of years. He won 3 gold medals in 2018. He was the first overall pick in one of our leagues. He just seems kind of like a no-brainer for someone you want to have on your team.
Yeah, I also have him as my top skier. And honestly, in overall rankings, first overall pick.
My next skier is Therese Johaug, another Norwegian. And so Therese won 4 gold medals at the 2021 World Championship. So there's 6 events for the women in cross-country skiing. She won 4 golds. And she also was 2nd overall in the World Cup standings for all the distance events this year.
Yeah, great pick. I'm going with my second skier, Alexander Bolshinov. Despite, any of the peculiar things going on with the Russian team, let's call it, there is still a plethora of solid Russian athletes out there.
Gotta have a villain.
That are exactly. So I'm bringing this guy on. Let's see what he does. Maybe he's the guy that takes it over from Kleibo. We don't know. Last
skier is Eileen Gu. She will be competing under the name Gu Eiling during the Olympics. She's competing for China, although she was born in America, but her mother is Chinese. I just kind of love Eileen's story. I just think it's really interesting. She is unique in that she's a freestyle skier, and unlike most freestyle skiers that only compete either in half pipe and then also in slopestyle or big air, she does all 3 disciplines, which is pretty unique.
Yeah, very impressive.
She has just been really dominant in half pipe over the last year or so, and has also racked up some victories in big air and slopestyle. So I think she could go 3 for 3. We'll see. A lot of pressure on her from China, and hopefully, she lives up to it. I'm going cross country across the board because, just as a fun fact, hint to the listeners out there, it feels like, at least in the Winter Olympics that I've played over the last couple of years, cross country skiing tends to provide the most medals.
There's 6 medal opportunities for men and women. Is that correct, Natalie?
Yeah, for each. So 12 total events, so 6 each. Yeah.
Right. Lots of possibilities. So my final skier, I'm going to go with Frida Karlsson of Sweden. She's a young hotshot, leading the boards in the under 23 category and just dominating the competition. Let's see, though, how she can play with the big guns.
Yeah, her and Therese are going to be going at it in those distance events. So
blood feud. Love it.
See, blood feud.
Let's go.
So we're going to look at the skater category next. If you remember again, you're going to need 2 skaters to fill your roster. So Natalie, do you want to get us started on skater category?
Yeah, so for skaters, you can have a speed skater, a short track speed skater, or a figure skater in this category. For my first skater, I went with Antoinette de Jong. Antoinette is from the Netherlands, who just clean up in the speed skating events. She is in 4 events, which is why I went with her over some of her compatriots, just more opportunities for medals. She's the reigning world champion in the 3000.
For both of my skaters, I'm going Dutch. Number 1, I've got Suzanne Schulting for the short track, and then Irene Schouten for the long distance skates. Really, it's just the Netherlands seem to have this dominant performance year after year on skates, and they just felt like, to me, a couple of the safest bets.
A little unconventional here, did not go with the speed skater, went figure skating with the Russian pair of Victoria Sinitsina and Nikita Katsalapov. They are the reigning world champions and they are 2-time European champs. So people might be wondering, Natalie, why would you pick a figure skater? They only compete in one event. That is not true. There is, as recently as 2018, a team figure skating event. So this pair has 2 medal opportunities. The Russians are heavily favored to almost sweep all the medal events in figure skating, except maybe the men's event, where Nathan Chen is favored to win.
The next category we're going to talk about is slider. So again, you're going to need 1 slider, and this is another one like skier and skater where there's like several different opportunities for different types of sliders. So Natalie, who would you choose as your top slider?
So here's another one where Tori and I are in complete agreement on. We both picked Francesco Friedrich of Germany, who is the bobsledder. He in both the 2-man and the 4-man. This is kind of another one like Claybo, I think is a no-brainer. He's got to be probably one of the most heavily favored in any event in the Olympics. He's only lost twice this year total, once in the 2-man and once in the 4-man. Otherwise, he's won every event that he's been in.
He's crazy, but we'll see if.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen at the Olympics. So
yeah, the Jamaicans are back, baby. I love it.
They are.
Let's see what happens.
Go Jamaica.
Would you guys like to discuss a little bit more about the slider category and what might constitute as a slider for this category, like the different types of people you could pick?
Yeah, so you can have here a bobsledder, which there are 2 events on both the men's and the women's side. The men have the 2 and the 4-man. The women have the monobob, which is new this year, as well as a 2-woman event. There is luge and also skeleton.
The next category we're going to discuss is snowboarder. Natalie, who would you pick for your top snowboarder?
I went with the classic here, half pipe, and my girl, Chloe Kim. Chloe is the defending Olympic gold medalist. And she took a couple of years off, so you might not have seen her name. And if you were looking up, World Cup results and World Championship results and things like that, but she's back, better than ever. Just going for gold, baby.
I'm going with a Kiwi, Zoe Sadowski-Sinot. Once again, I apologize for the pronunciation, Zoe, if you're listening. Zoe, she's a young hotshot. She actually was a bronze medalist in the 2018 games. She races in slopestyle and big air. She just very recently dominated the X Games. So I'm really hoping that she can kind of, take that momentum into the Olympics.
So the next category that we are going to discuss is the other category. So this is kind of an interesting category in that there's so many different things you can choose.
Sure. So the other category is sort of like a catch-all. So you can have, like you said, a snowboarder here. You can have another speed skater here, another skier here, another biathlete here, or two sports that are not covered in these other categories are hockey and curling. So you could have a hockey team here, or you could have an individual curler here. So the other can be pretty much anything. You can put any athlete in here, any hockey team in there. The only thing you can't do with the other is put an unsung nation in there. And for my first other, I chose Jarl Magnus Reber, don't know. He is a Norwegian. I got a lot of Norwegians on my team. The competing in the Nordic combined, there are 3 medal events in the Nordic combined. Jarl did really well this year on the World Cup. A lot of people say he is the greatest Nordic combined skier ever. Oh, sorry.
Hey,
Lucille's up. As mentioned previously, cross-country skiers seem to get a lot of medals. So I'm sticking with the villain code here. I'm going to go with another Russian, Natalia Neprayeva. She's on the cross-country circuit, been really strong over the last couple months, it looks like. We'll see if she can bring home just a couple silvers. Would help.
You don't want her to beat out Frida, huh? My last other slot is also a cross-country skier, but I went for the home team, USA, Jessie Diggins. Jessie, if you don't know, you need to Google "Here Comes Diggins," because it is one of the most iconic moments in Winter Olympics history.
Absolutely epic.
It is so great. She won the team sprint gold medal in 2018. It is amazing. I dare you to watch it and not feel awesome after. And since then, that sort of set Jessie on this path. She was in 2021, the overall, she won the World Cup circuit that year and was the leader in the distance events. And this year, she's 3rd overall and also 3rd in the sprint events. Jessie is sort of why I put her in here, besides the fact that I love that moment from 2018, is that she, unlike some of the other cross-country skiers, does, she's good at both distance and sprint. So she's kind of like a double threat here.
Go Jessie. I love that pick. So my final other, I'm going to switch it up, go to a totally different discipline. I'm going to go ski jumping. We got Karl Geiger from Germany, has been pretty strong over the last couple of months as well. And in ski jumping, there is a men and a women's. However, the men's has 4 competitions, 4 medal events. The women, unfortunately, only have 2. That also, I feel like, needs to change. Anyways, the men, they do normal hill, large hill, team, and then I think this is new this year, the mixed team.
Right, yeah.
So the females will join their compatriots. And Karl has just been really strong. So it's 4 potential medals for him. We'll see how it shakes out.
Ski jumping is a bit scary. I find it nerve-wracking to watch because
it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Not for the faint of heart.
All right. So the final category that we're going to discuss is Unsung Nation. So Natalie, do you want to explain what Unsung Nation is and tell us who you would pick?
So Unsung Nation is kind of a fun category. It is for a nation that in the previous Winter Olympics won 10 or fewer medals. So there's only, you can't pick Norway here, you can't pick Germany, you can't pick the USA. They have to have won 10 or fewer medals. And also the scoring for Unsung is a little bit different. So for all the categories that we just talked about, if your athlete gets a gold medal, it's 5 points, silver is 3, bronze is 1. For Unsung, because you're talking about a whole country, the scoring is different. So gold is 1.5 points, silver is 1 point, bronze is 0.5 point. For my Unsung, I think this again is one of the few no-brainers here. China, the host nation, China. China won 9 or 10 medals in 2018. Now they're the host country. Host countries typically get a big bump when they host the Olympics, partly because they've been preparing so much, but also they typically get entries into every event. So they just have so many opportunities.
Yeah, solid picks, Nat. Let's see how it goes. A couple blood feuds
Yeah, we'll come back throughout the games, check in on our rosters, see who wins at the end of it.
Yeah, let's see who had the ultimate dream team.
Thanks, guys, for sharing your ideal rosters. Good luck to all of you fantasy medalists out there planning your roster as we speak, and in your research. That's all we have for this episode, but join us next episode when we take things in a different direction.
All right, see you guys next time.
Bye.
All right, bye.